It is Vanessa Kinsey. Happy Sunday. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Vanessa Kinsey. I am a business and life management coach, passionate about efficiency, simplicity, and helping you find solutions to the obstacles that are standing between you and the life that you want to live. And so this week I'm showing up, even though I have had so many obstacles of my own. And, that happens. I mean, it's funny because like 2 weeks ago, I did that video. I'm laughing about it now because I even knew at the time when I said it, it's like, oh, I don't know, Vanessa, you're kind of setting yourself up. But 2 weeks ago, I did that video, and I talked about how Brandon didn't like change, and that I did. And my dog is like going to start like barking. Bamboo, come here. Come here. So anyway, so right after that, I mean, like literally like the next day, things in our life started changing, and there were things that we did not have control over. One of them being Brandon's work situation. And for me, because I have major bag lady syndrome, that is like total pulling the rug out from under me. I was already starting to deal with like my anxiety has been kind of rearing its head again anyway. And then things like that happen. And it's just like, I start feeling like I'm losing control. And I've had a couple of days. In fact, I've talked to some people this week who are kind of, I don't know, maybe there's something in the air where it just seems like there's some things like life is just suddenly hard. And hold on, I have to introduce you to my dog Bamboo. Come here. It's funny because like I said at the beginning of the year, which I keep talking about, is like my whole goal for 2017 was to start addressing the things in my life that were driving me crazy and making changes. And one of the things is, you got to say hi to Bamboo, but one of the things is my dogs. And I'm hopefully have one of my dog trainer friends going to come on and have a chat with us because my dogs cause like so much trouble in my life. And, this week was my week anniversary of, sit down. My week anniversary of having my Pomsky Bootsy, and she was a completely trained dog when I got her, and which was nice. She's 9 and she was completely trained so now it's been a year and she's slowly not as trained anymore. So, at first, I had to train her to jump up on the couch and, do things that she wasn't supposed to do in her other life. And now I'm starting to realize, wow, it's really nice when you have a dog that's trained and doesn't bark constantly like mine does. And now they both bark constantly. But that's a little side note from what I got on here to talk to you about today, because really, I will go back to the fact that, life is full of twists and turns and peaks and valleys. And me being a person who is a major type A personality, I'm working on that. I feel like I'm solid, like a solid B+ now. Like I'm not like an A+, like A+ personality like I used to be. I am sitting solid at a B+ now. And so when things happen this week, things in life, things that we didn't really see coming start happening. And then kind of what happened from learning about Brandon's job situation. And then it started feeling like everything was just, my house. Then the other day, a couple days ago, I wake up and we've got this termite like infestation, very strange. And when I say termite, like there was like a swarm of termites. Like if you would see a swarm of bees, there was a swarm of termites on my kitchen ceiling. And we cleaned them up that night. That was 2 nights ago. Didn't see any during the day. And then when we came home from dinner last night, they are again in the same spot. And it's so strange because not as many, obviously, but we can't figure out where they're coming from, and we can't really solve it because our association, apparently it's our homeowners association issue. And so I have to wait for them. And, so that's a whole nother story. Because if it was me, in my deal, I would have had the termite guy out here yesterday morning. But anyway, so that happened at the house. And then first it was Brandon's job situation. And then, which means things like totally change. So that's like, besides the fact that like he has to get a new job, which he does. And it ended up being like in the end, like a better situation. But there was a few days of being a little bit hairy, and we're not even out of it yet because starting tomorrow, the kids things are changing tomorrow. So, and let me just say hi to you guys that are popping on here. Laura, hey, hi. And Michelle, I will tell you about my kitchen in a minute. I'm actually not finished with it yet. And so I learned some lessons on that, and I have a kind of a plan on what I'm going to do with that. But anyway, so, just immediately, things changed in my life, and I didn't have any control over it. And Brandon and I actually, I'd say I'm a person that likes change, but, I like to have, I like to be, I'll tell you, Laura, just a second. I like to be like, I don't mind change, but I want to be the person that's in control of the change. So Laura, my friend Laura, is on here asking what happened. And what happened is 2 weeks ago, I did a video about how much I like change, or how much I don't have a problem with change, and my husband does. And we had just bought him a brand new, or it wasn't brand new, it's not brand new, but we just bought him a new work truck. And then basically like overnight, his job dissolved. So, which is hilarious because we just have this truck. Now he does plumbing construction. And so then he has this huge truck, and then like overnight he didn't have a job. But anyways, that's worked out. He has a much better job and a much better situation, but he has to change his working hours, which means our whole situation has to change. I'm very lucky that my husband has been like a person who oh my gosh, there is the most amazing butterfly outside my window. I wish I could take a picture of it. This is so crazy. This is a sign, seriously. So he has, throughout our life, from when we had kids, Brandon is the one that has been home with them in the afternoon, and he does their homework with them, and he's at school, and he does all that sort of stuff. And now, and luckily they're older, they're 11, our boys are 11 and 13, but they're at two different schools, and but he's not going to be home with them in the afternoon anymore. And what that means is that we had to like scramble and make some like major changes pretty much overnight. And they're not completely, we haven't completely I have a solution for this coming week, at least as far as Kern goes, but we have to change, and it's all good. Really, in the end, it's going to be good. But there again are things that I don't have control over. I want things to be a certain way, and it's just not possible. It's not possible for me to have things go the way that I want them to go. But, as all of this has happened, and this morning, when you're a person who has anxiety, like I do, and I like to say that I had anxiety, but when you're a person that has anxiety, my anxiety has reared its head, and it has just, I'm reading the comments. So when I look away from the camera, I'm reading the comments, just so you know. And my friend Laura said, you told the universe you could do change. And she was like, all right, here we go, curveball. And I mean, I knew that. I totally knew that when I said that in my live a couple of weeks ago. I heard my voice in my head go, oh my God, are you ready for this? And at the time I was like, yeah, I'm ready for it. Bring it. And then it happened. And what happened is I like to be a person who normally if someone would talk to me and say, X, Y, whatever's happening in their life, I'd be like, okay, that's for the best. Like, that's really good. Something better's in store for you, that sort of thing. But when it happened this week to Brandon, to us, and I have had this cold, which I never get sick. I rarely ever get sick, but I've had this head cold to the point where I actually had to stay home from work this week for one day. It's like so not me. So I'm not thinking right, and I'm on cold medicine. And all the things that I am as a person and all the things that I believe went completely out the window. And I started looking at things that I really don't have control over, which is everything pretty much outside of myself. The only thing that I have control over is me and how I show up for life. And I forgot that, I really forgot that. I didn't forget it. I just couldn't access it from the point of where I was in the mind space of where I was. I really had to take a step back this week. I've had to do more self-care than I normally do, which self-care is always like at the very top of my list, but I had to step back and I've had to really be resting to try to get over this. But the thing that I was thinking about, or the thing that I realized this morning, actually, when I started getting that feeling again, and when I start getting the feelings of feeling very overwhelmed or feeling like I don't have any control over life, my mind starts racing. Do you ever have that feeling when you get overwhelmed, like what it feels like? I remember when my friend Michelle used to take me to the jewelry store, and I don't know if Michelle's still here watching with us, but my friend Michelle makes jewelry, and we would go to the jewelry store. She's really good at making jewelry. And we'd go to the jewelry store, and we'd go in the jewelry store, and to her, it was like so exciting because there's all these beads and all these different things that she could make. And to me, it was like I totally short circuit and I just shut down. And I relate that to when things start happening outside of me in life. That's exactly what happens to me. I just want to I like short circuit and I want to shut down. And I think the difference is, and what I'm really recognizing in myself is that when I used to be like that, and I talked about this last week, and I'm showing up here, and my intention is to show up with authenticity for you. And I say that, and then when I have to do it and show up again the second week in a row, showing up with authenticity from a place where I really don't want to be right now, I just have to work my way through it. That's what I'm doing. I have to work my way through this. And this morning I was feeling very, I was like, I'm going to quit. I just want to quit. I just want to run away. And it's not possible. Actually, that's not possible. First of all, I thought of myself, could I get on here and tell you guys I'm quitting? Like, I couldn't. I couldn't do that to myself. Like, I know what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's full of like ups and downs, and the road can be very, very bumpy and unclear. And the fact of the matter is I have to keep showing up like I'm doing right now. But what I wanted to say was the very first thing that I caught myself this morning when I said, when I remembered, and I had to go take a walk. I had to go walk my dogs to get out of my house, to get out of the environment, and to change the momentum of what was going on in my head, to get outside, to have the fresh air, to breathe that change. Actually, the first thing I thought of and what came to me is, all we have control over is ourselves, like I said. And if you think of it this way, that you're only one thought away from a completely different way of feeling, from a completely different way of being, from a completely different way of living. That is so much easier to deal with than trying to change everything at once. If you can change your thoughts about what's going on, your one thought about what's going on, you can change where you are in that moment. And what I told myself, and this is something that I do every day, this is really something that I live by, is I have a mantra for myself. And right now, what it's been this week, and what I reminded myself of this morning, is that everything in this moment is okay, right? Everything, when you're going through some sort of turmoil in your life, when things aren't going the way that you want them to go, in this moment, in this very moment where you are right this second, and it doesn't matter how bad your situation is. And I've been through some really, really bad situations in my life. In fact, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of something very, very big in my life. Will be next Sunday. And I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a video about that yet. But But I do know that from where you are in this moment, in the moment that all we have is right now, everything is okay. And so that's what I've really been focusing on today. And, you know, when you create those mantras for yourself, it can be very simple, you know, and you can just something very simple that you can hang on to, and you can just keep telling yourself as a way to refocus yourself on something more positive than where you are. And then the next thing is I wanted to say is that you need to be responsible. We all have to be responsible for our own happiness. And that is really, it's so easy when things are going wrong to try to point, if only this was different, or if only this was different, that that you would be happy. But the fact of the matter is you have to be responsible for your own happiness no matter what is going on outside of you. And those are the things that I'm really, you know, myself working on. And, you know, what you have to do, it's funny because what the thing that started all of this off for me was, I'm trying to see if I have I don't have it. When you try to make yourself happy, and what started me on this whole entire journey was having to figure out what makes me happy, you know? And so you have to ask yourself, what makes me happy? And this week, what makes me happy, such a simple thing, is this little nail polish. I mean, I've had it for a long time, but I wanted to show it to you guys because this nail polish, I love it. It's cheap, I'm sure. I've had it for a long time. I probably got it at like Rite Aid or something. But I love this color. It's by Sinful Colors, and it's number 112 Tokyo Pearl. And I love it because it's neutral and it actually stays on. So I haven't polished my nails in a week, but I'm going to put another coat on tonight. But it's just, I love that. You can barely see it, but it's not all chippy, you know, it doesn't chip off. And then, because I know somebody's going to ask me, I've gotten so many compliments on this week. My earrings. Have you guys ever heard of Nickel and Suede? Have you ever heard of Nickel and Suede? This company is so amazing. And these earrings, can you see them? What do you think they are made out of? Can you guess? They look like they're heavy. I'm really super picky about having like heavy jewelry around my neck or around on my ears. They are made out of leather and I absolutely love them. So I wanted to leave you with those two things that are making me happy this week. And also, of course, has anybody went to Trader Joe's and tried that that coconut cold brew coffee that I told you about? No? Anyway, okay, so that's all I have for you today. I'm hoping next week I will have an interview for you. I actually had one scheduled for today, and then my friend who was scheduled to come on today had the same kind of week as I did, and just like, well, actually hers was, you know, anyways, life is happening to her too. And so I think I've gotten my tech issues figured out, but now I'm dealing with my scheduling issues. And like I've always told you, like the whole point of me coming on here was to interview people. And then I just wanted to address, because my friend asked me here what happened in my kitchen. If you guys saw, I did a video yesterday morning, just a real quick video talking about the termite situation that turned into me wanting to tear my entire kitchen apart. That I realized yesterday, I can't, like anything you want to change in your life, you want instant change, and it just isn't like everything. It takes more time, like 10 times the amount of time that you think that it would take. So I did end up, you know, starting that. My kitchen is put back together. And then I'm thinking in my private group called Simplify, I'm going to do some behind the scenes like posts about decluttering in there. So I'm, you know, getting more like in depth on what I'm doing and how to start really tackling a space, because you have to do it a little bit at a time. I mean, like everybody wants to completely change their life like right now and overnight. You want to make all these major changes. But the fact of the matter is you can only do, most people like me with everything that I have going on in my life, I can only do a little bit at a time. So I want to thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you for watching on the replay. If you watch on the replay, if you could post in the comments, hashtag replay, so I can say hi to you and thank you for being here with me. And, until next week, I just want to remind you, you have one life. Make sure you're living it. Bye, guys.